Good morning and welcome to Gulfstream today. Brian Nato with you here on an absolutely picture perfect Thursday afternoon, a Chamber of Commerce day, if I may, here as we draw in on Fountain of Youth weekend. 9 of them for you today. We hope to see you out here, starting to get popular and crowded because it is a huge weekend here at Gulfstream Park. The Fountain of Youth has been drawn 14 races on that 9-race stakes card, 8 of them graded stakes. Going to start early on Saturday, 11:15, but we're going to try to get you there with some money in the bankroll because the Rainbow Six today on the 9-race card in race number 4. Look at that. $750,000. And Ronnie, who was stopped by yesterday, and that was great, and appreciate that. He's got a ticket for us a little bit later on. $750,000 if we get to Sunday. It will be a mandatory day. I'll talk about it in the lightning round. I was just numbering the PPs now. Massive sequence on Sunday, but a lot of heavy lifting to get there, and take a shot at it today because that pool, if you've been with us the past week or two, as we start building, once we get over that $500,000 or so, it really grows exponentially. But last Sunday, there were half the field were singles, so don't think this couldn't happen. Get involved and take a shot at it. Monster pool looming. Big early pick 5 on this card as well. The pools have been very healthy. We're fast. We're firm today. We've got turf racing all day. Let's take a quick look at my early pick 5. I lost a couple top picks today, unfortunately, with the scratch bug. $12 here. We'll spread a little bit early. Race 2, the top pick is the 4 Trucker. Now, I do scratch into Trucker. Single in race 3 with the 5 Lucky Curlin. In race 4, I've got the 10 on top in that spot there to the outside, Night Saber. And in race 5, that is my best bet, Designated Hitter for Gustavo Delgado, who's going to run the maiden Victory Avenue in Saturday's finale, the Grade 2 Fountain of Youth Stakes. But let's get into the opener now. We'll go 5.5 on the Tapeta. These are $25,000 maiden claimers here, the 3-year-old fillies in the spotlight. We do have a scratch of the 2 Lady Oak Ridge in here early in the betting, and it looks like it could be pretty good betting race here. I'm going to start it out, and I'm going to show a replay with the 4 Spirit of Victory, who was on the turf last time, and we're going to cut back, but this is just not a good trip. You can see this horse down on the inside. Thank you, Bob. Going to be checking, going to be in tight, and then went up to chase the winner. And still had run in deep stretch, but just tired a little bit late. I think a lot of the effort, there we go right there. A lot of the effort that was used early certainly cost late. You can see her still unsettled. She did not like being down in there. Now with the Hall of Famer Javier Castellano on the cutback. The only time she's been sprinting on the Tapeta was a maiden special way. You could see it even at the end there. We could have run it a little more. It was not comfortable being down inside in there, and I think now on the cutback, getting back to the Tapeta, you can see she's got some speed at her disposal. Wouldn't shock me at all if the Hall of Famer takes the initiative, if she breaks running and says, you know what, let's try to just go up about our business on the front end. Goes On is the 7 for Nick Gonzalez. If you're not familiar with this Woodbine-based barn, Nick comes down here and has for a long time, and he's won races during the championship meet. This is one of those tricky reads because she's got a quote, Big Figure on debut. Big Figure in this field was in a 50 optional claimer, was not in for a tag, was 31-1 that day. Didn't really do a lot of running, but it was a fast race for the level. The winner, Trumpets, is freakishly fast for Joe Catanese, and she could win some significant races, especially on the Tapeta. I think that's a good race. Goes On comes out of. I'm sitting up there at 10-1 right now off a 7-2 morning line. That would I would think she's going to get hit late with the Big Figure in a big drop in class here today, and I think she'll be a much tighter off that debut as well. In a Blink is your tepid morning line favorite. Paco is here. This is a good outside attack post, but I think Paco's going to have to need now. He's going to ride for the first time. The blinkers went on last time, had a little more speed last time. I would expect Paco to put this daughter of Buchero in the race early. Say it time and time again. The sire, Buchero, loves. He just drops all sorts of Tapeta horses, and they love it. So food for thought there. Early pick 4 in race number 2. We've got a couple scratches here of the 6 Omaha 8 and the 8 Unfinished Affairs in this 7 furlong, $35,000 maiden claimer. The 3-year-old's going at it here, a fast main track. Let's take a look at my ticket. It's a run back. It's a very tight ticket. I said this yesterday, though. I like playing and I like giving out these kind of tickets. I don't know. I don't think it's a great idea to spread too deep in the pick fours, especially if you're going to have a few favorites in here as well. So we'll spread a little bit here. You can see the 2 singles. It's just a $4 early pick 4 ticket. Now, I lost my top pick in here. I did have Unfinished Affairs on top in this spot on the comeback for Jose Garofalo. We'll see where he pops up again. So I do scratch into the 4 Trucker. And you know, I have no idea, to be quite honest, if this horse can run at all, because you look at the 3 races, has never been bet, okay, was in against much tougher special weights at Saratoga, Belmont at Aqueduct, and here at Gulfstream Park. So we're going to take a big drop. Had a there off you lose trip last time, okay? So I think we can draw a line through the last race. If you're playing this horse, you're probably drawing a line through literally every race that he's ever run. But my point is, excuse me, look at the speed he showed at Belmont at Aqueduct 2 back. I think that's going to play in here as long as we break running, and Bill Mott and Junior Alvarado teaming up. Good to see Junior back here yesterday, talking shop with him a little bit after he delivered. What a ride he delivered on Senior Buscador in the Saudi Cup on Saturday. So awesome to see. If there's a nicer guy on the grounds than Junior Alvarado, I haven't met him yet. So that was really good to see, and good to kind of get his thoughts on that. And you know, Junior said the horse fits me perfectly. Well, you know, Junior fits the horse perfectly too. I want to take a look at a stat for Bill Mott. This is going to flatter Trucker a little bit, and here's a big angle here for Bill. Maiden special weight to maiden claimer derp sprints the past 5 years, 39%. That's a pretty darn sizable sample. Now you see, when you're 39% and the ROI is under $2, obviously these are a lot of well-meant horses at short prices. Trucker, we'll see. I don't know if they're going to bet Trucker or not. You know, he's never been bet before, but this is a massive drop in class. Going to go second Lasix as well. Curlin's cruising, coming back across the state for Safi off the maiden special weight at Tampa. Edgar Zayas is here. They're going to bet this horse, and they're going to bet him hard. And it makes sense, you know. Put blinkers on last time, and you can see it. His form really woke up. I don't know how much of a drop this is, to be perfectly blunt. You know, we have better horses here at Gulfstream Park. It's as simple as that. So he's dipping in for 35. They're going to bet him. It's a good post for him. I don't necessarily love him. I moved a couple horses up, again, because I lost my top pick in here. The 2 Guau is interesting for Jerry O'Dwyer. Talk about throwing something at the wall here, the kitchen sink at him. Blinkers, gelding, Lasix, all goes on, and we get a pretty big jock move now to Tyler Gaffalione. The problem is the big figure race was on debut, it was on Tapeta, and it was September 3rd. So where you been? That's the question, and he's down inside too. Whitby off the claim for Mark Hennig. Going to try the main track for the first time. A route on the turf at Tampa to start in a special weight. Tapeta sprint last time, ran pretty well. Tricky post for Whitby, though, down inside. Mark does not claim a lot of horses. Pretty darn good at it, though. 2 for 6. So a little food for thought. I think it's a spready kind of race to kick off the early pick 4. We get on to the turf in race number 3. These are the veterans here, 4-year-olds and up. It's a $50,000 claimer. Somewhat of a late scratch this morning, a little bit before I came on the air. The 2 Grand David, a long shot. He's out of the race, but he did have some speed, so I think it probably helps the 1 down on the inside, Klugman. I don't know if he can wire anyway, but the only opinion I have in here is of the opinion I don't want Emirati. So I could have easily played my early pick 5 for $24. I could have easily played my early pick 4 for $8. I said this yesterday. I'm a firm believer. I don't really feel like you get any sort of advantage, and I don't necessarily think it's a great look to give out a ticket where you're using 2 likely heavy favorites equally. So me personally, I would play this ticket stronger with Lucky Curlin, with a backup with Emirati, as opposed to using them both equally. I don't like to do that. So on to my top pick, Lucky Curlin. Listen, he came from nowhere at 37-1 last time, in a much better spot than this. He's got the tactical speed that Emirati, I think he's going to get first run on Emirati. He's also Fernando Abreu and Powder Pop Racing. And these connections are just absolutely white hot of late. And I don't really think I have to worry about Lucky Curlin. I just kind of feel like this is the right spot for him. He's been in this kind of race before. Now let's segue over to Emirati, who for Chad Brown is dropping, I'm going to call it, it's a dicey drop. He's a good third to a stablemate that I think is going to win stakes races, running B. He's headed out at the level 2 back behind Fort Washington, who's a fringe stakes player in his own right. He's running in stakes races 3 and 4 and 5 back. I'm not saying they're giving him away. Mike Dubb likes to win races. I just think he's in here for 50. That's a little worrisome for me. He's going to be a short price. I'm going to try to beat him on top, and that's another reason why I'm going with Lucky Curlin. Street Ready's in here for Mike Maker. I guess he's probably at the proper level. He ran in the Diliberto at Fairgrounds. I use that term loosely because he was 10th of 12th that day. Mike claimed him 2 back. You know, it seems like it's been a long time since he ran 3rd in our Fort Lauderdale last year with a 96. Because the 3 races since then, I think it's pretty obvious he's off form. Now, Mike does a great job getting these horses back on form. I don't know what's left in the tank of Street Ready. It's a good sign. I don't like to play jockeys, musical chairs, and all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to tell you, Irad's here riding for Mike Maker. He's not riding Emirati for Chad Brown. So there's another kind of, little monkey wrench into the equation. But I have Street Ready further down on the list. I'm just going to single Lucky Curlin and take a shot in there. Not that he's going to be any kind of price, but just going to try to fade Emirati on top is the bottom line. 3 down, 6 to go. So when we come back here on Gulfstream today, it's Rainbow 6 time. $750,000 in the pool, and Ronnie's got a ticket. Stay tuned. We'll have it shortly.
And they're off.
Win big with new DRF All Access Past Performances. With one best-in-class product, you now get all 3 past performance formats. Easily switch between views. Access the most trusted information in horse racing with DRF All Access Past Performances. Go to DRF.com and use coupon code 1FREEPP for a free single card today.
And welcome back to Gulfstream today. Brian Nadeau with you here on a picture-perfect Thursday afternoon in Hallandale Beach. We hope to see you out here as we kind of build some momentum towards Fountain of Youth Day on Saturday. That 14 race, 9 stakes, 8 of them graded bonanza, culminating with the big one, $400,000 on the line in the Grade 2 Key Curlin Derby Prep, Kentucky Derby Prep for that matter as well. Door knock and locked on the comeback trail, the new shooters, Victory Avenue and Speakeasy as well. But that is Saturday. Today is Thursday, and front and center is Rainbow 6 here in race number 4. $750,000. And as I said, Ronnie put together a ticket. He'll be back with us tomorrow on Friday. Take a look at that ticket now here. This is the playbook for Ron now. This is a massive, massive pool. And these estimated jackpots in the 750 today have been absolutely spot on. So they're going to send it in today. Ronnie is 3x3x4. He's a little tighter later on. And normally he goes long shot looking in the last race, but I'm going to assume this is his best bet. Wow, that is a bold one. Celestial Glaze for trainer Danny Hertak in there. Bold one for Ronnie in there on a 43.20 ticket. And as I said, he'll be back with us tomorrow and all weekend, and that is pretty cool with me. So let's get to this first race here. We're going to $170 on Tapeta in race number 4. Fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. It's a 2L. The tag is 8. It's a clean race. It's a deep race. One of those gangs are all here kind of races. I didn't pick any of the gang, so I'm going to start with my top pick, and then we'll show you the replay, what I'm talking about. But Night Saber is going to drop in half for Julie Stormfeld. In for 16 last time on a trainer change. Last of 6, but was only beaten 4.5 lengths. I didn't think it was a bad effort, a solid enough figure. We're second off a little bit of a layoff. We're second time in this barn as well, and I just think the drop is going to play in here. I mean, this is pretty, when you drop in half, there are races in between 8 and 16. When you drop in half, I think it's a pretty solid one. Jorge Ruiz, I've said it time and time again, if you're not familiar with him, and I know he's not going to be a 20% kind of guy, he knows the score around here, and he puts horses in the right spot. He rides the turf really well. He's going to be on some live ones on Saturday for Grand Motion and Jimmy Toner. Don't sleep on him. I like the job he does. So, Night Saber on top. Okay, now let's show you the trio in here. And that trio is Grandma's Pudding, Mad Madam Mim, and Sweet Sensation. Mad Madam Mim gets necked out. Grandma's Pudding's trying to see it out on the front end. She held okay. She was third. She was beaten 3 1/4 lengths, but Mad Madam Mim was second, beaten a neck. It's Safi. It's Tyler Gaffalione. Sweet Sensation's going to run on a little bit for late, and that's what she does. That's why she's 1 for 27. The point being here, now Great Princess is going to win this race at 8-5. There's nothing happening here, but I think when you watch this replay, what you're going to leave with is the only horse you want out of this race is the morning line favorite, Mad Madam Mim. I mean, you can't take anyone else out of there. She runs very, very well. She's comfortably ahead of Grandma's Pudding. So, I'd like to think if you're getting involved in this rainbow and you're getting involved on a pretty serious ticket, you punch 10-5. I'd like to think you're going to get through this race because I can't see anybody that finished behind Mad Madam Mim turning the tables on her. I got Grandma's Pudding in third, and I think that's kind of an indictment of the rest of the field in and of itself because I can't see her beating Mad Madam Mim. She's going to have to see it out on the lead again. She's 1 for 16 lifetime, and I've got her in third. I don't know. I'll mention Pimanova quickly. Robbie Falcone won a Topeta race the other day. That was good to see. Irad is here. Those are positives, but my goodness, she has not run literally 1 inch in her last 2 starts. She's never tried Topeta either. It's not a big sample, but this is a barn that goes 0 for 12 turf to Topeta. I'm willing to fade her, and I'm willing to fade her comfortably. If she gets it done, well, I don't. They pick 5 time here in race number 5. Back to the Topeta at 1 mile and a 16th. These are 3-year-olds here. The tag's $16,000. It's a clean field of 7. It kicks off the late 5, as I mentioned. Let's take a look at my ticket, and then we'll get into this race here. I've got a replay to show as well. I mentioned earlier, this is my best bet on the card, and that is Designated Hitter. I've got another single in the next race down inside, Super Crunchy. Try to get a little value there on a horse they'll bet. In race number 7, we go 3 deep. My long shot is out of this race, and there's a double scratch in here, so I have the 2 Nichiren on top in a field of 4. Race number 8, I'm going to take a very little shot with Oscar Worthy, the 4 over Co-Invest. And then in race number 9, where Ronnie went singling to Celestial Glaze, he's actually my 4th pick. My top pick is the 7 in there, and that is Payzone for Rohan Crichton. First time on the Topeta for Rohan, and that is a big move there. So $12 late 5. Let's get into this race. And I mentioned I've got my best bet in here. Much like the last race with the gang, and I'm not picking the gang. Designated Hitter now absolutely dominated them, adding blinkers in his second Topeta start last time for Team Delgado. We're facing winners today, stepping up in class. There's no great shakes in here, but it is a class rise. He's got no edge on paper, but I just feel like this is the right type of race to have a fresh new face, so to speak. I already mentioned Jorge Ruiz. He was aboard last time for the first time. I think it's pretty obvious the blinkers really, really woke this horse up. I'm going to come right back to him on top. Next door is the 3 Ice the Kicker. He was my best bet last time, and he ran pretty well. Let's bring up that race, guys, because Ice the Kicker is in here. Papa Doo, and Pirate Radio. They're all in here. Ice the Kicker never got a breather on the front end. So he gutted it out behind Magic Shadow, who you can see is kind of lurking back, and he's the trip horse here. Whereas Ice the Kicker got nagged this day. he kind of shed Papa Do, and he went on. And this was a pretty good effort because he looks in deep water here, no doubt about it. Entering the far turn, and Junior kept him going, to his credit. And he dug in, and he did not want to let Magic Shadow at 9-5 by. He fought late. He was only beating a length there. When you hit the far turn, it did not look like he was going to be second, beating a length. So I respect that effort. I just worry about him getting pestered on the lead again. And again, I wanted just a fresh new face out of that kind of race where, to me, Ice the Kicker was really the only one I wanted there. Papa Do ran okay for Jorge Delgado, but I thought he should have run a little bit better with the dynamics in the race. That's why I'm fading him a little bit. In the Honey Man, I don't know really what to make of him. Jose D'Angelo it kind of looks like this is just next up on the checklist here, right? We sprint on the Tapeta, no, on debut. We sprinting some on the main track. We're routing on the main track. We're routing on the turf. We're routing back on the main track. None of it really worked all that well. Now we're going to try to route on the Tapeta. Maybe he wakes up, but I think he's the type of horse that underneath only kind of horse. Late pick 4 kicks off in race number 6. A competitive race here. Maiden optional claimer 50s here on the turf. The Florida bred don't need to be in for the tag. These are 3-year-olds. We're going a mile and a 16th here on a firm turf course. The AEs are out, 13, 14, 15, and 16. And I will mention the 3. Dunes of Gold, the firster for Jose D'Angelo, is a gelding. So take note, Dunes of Gold is a gelding. Guys, let's take a look at my late pick 4 here. We'll just run it back quickly. It's a $16 ticket, or $12 ticket, excuse me, with the scratch in there. Yeah, I think we're going to go 16. I'll fix that. But regardless, it's just basically a run back of my late pick 5. You can see the single here. And let's get to this race because I'm single and super crunchy down on the inside. I was going to make this horse my best bet. I want to show the replay, though, when this horse was in tight down on the inside. And that's the reason why I didn't make this horse my best bet, because what's happening again today? Well, he's down inside again. And I don't really think he liked being down in here too much. You're going to see him. We know those live oak colors very well. And he's kind of checking out of it. You can see the head action there. You know, no real fault of Paco's. He just had a horse that didn't want to be down in there. And unfortunately, today, we're down in there again. So that tempered my enthusiasm a little bit. But I don't think there's any doubt, at least right now on February 29th, he's the best turf horse in this race. I put him on top. I singled him. I don't have complete trust in him. That's why he's not my best bet of the day. Iron Tap is interesting for me. They didn't bet him on debut for Safi. Now they paid $260 for a tapper. That's a lot of money for a horse that stands for $7,500. Okay, didn't get bet that day at 12-1. I didn't think it was the best maiden race we're going to run. Arrogancy is trying to become a lifetime maiden. We'll see him later on. I don't like him at all, but as a son of Tapper, certainly curling on the bottom of this pedigree. We need an extra turn here is what we need, and we need more ground. He's going to get it today. He's well drawn. I don't think they're going to come back to him, so maybe you get a little value in here. Safi's 28% with second out maidens. Take a little shot with him underneath. The horse, I don't know what to make of. I made him favored on the morning line because he's got a giant figure in this race, and he was bet last time. That's the 2 Iris's Dream. I've mentioned Jorge Ruiz's name quite a bit today. He's live today as the wind picks up a little bit. He could have a day here. I don't really know what to do with Iris's Dream because those are dirt races now. The huge figure last time when he was headed out by Tour Guide, and he was literally a football field ahead of the rest when he added Lasix. If he converts that race to turf, they'll never beat him. And, they bet big figure horses. So that's what he is. Is he bred for turf? Well, not really, but he's not meeting any world beaters in here either. I like the work Cheryl Weinbaugh does. She's got 3 wins at the championship meet. So I respect her and the horse. I'm just going to maybe let's see one on the grass before we put this horse too high on the list. But I'll tell you what, if he converts over to it and he takes to it, they're all in for a real problem here. Late pick 3 kicks off in race number 7. 5 furlongs on the Tapeta in this optional claimer. These are the 4-year-olds and up. 2 scratches in here, unfortunately. The 1, if not for luck, is out. And the 3, who was my long shot, Super Success, is out. So Fernando Abreu and Powder Pop had 2. They're going to run 1, and that is the 4, Famous Gent, who's on all my tickets. We should have that 264 in there. But I scratch into Nichiren for Rohan. Off the claim, Rohan Crichton. Off the claim last time ran very, very well. Now, this, on paper, it's a rising class. In reality, today, in this race, it's not a rising class at all. This horse fits like a glove in here. So I think he's a major, major player. Rohan does such a good job. Hey, he's got a fighter's chance in the Fountain Youth on Saturday as well. The 6-horse King Cab, I'll tell you what, if he's ever going to forget to stop, and he remembers to stop every single time, this is it, okay? 5 furlongs on the Tapeta. He's run well in his only Tapeta start. We know how speed plays on the Tapeta, and at 5 furlongs, speed really plays on the Tapeta, and he's got a world of it. Paco is here. It is a send mission. He never, ever sees it out. Paco knows him well. I've played him several times in the past. I'm all done playing him. He's a legitimate, this is probably his best chance ever, or in quite some time, to wire the field. Look at the speed he's got, and he always gives it up. He's got a darn good chance to see it out today. And you got to mention Famous Gent, because if you got 2 and you only run 1, well, look out. And Powder Pop has done nothing wrong. And Fernando Abreu, you look at the Tapeta race 3 back. He's going to like getting back to this surface. He's a huge threat in here as well. Late double time in race 8. It's a good one. It's a maiden special weight on the turf. Firm turf course for the 3-year-olds, going 7.5. Certainly, they've got all beat co-invest at 8-5 on the morning line. I'm going to tepidly play against them with the 4, Oscar Worthy. Took a nibble on debut at 6-1 for Brian Lynch. Was a good 7th. I say that because he was only beaten 2 1/4 lengths. It was a pretty solid race. I expect to move forward today. You know, Brian's good enough, first-time starters, but at 21%, the MO is to kind of crank him up for the second start. And I think that's Oscar Worthy today. A nice homebred pedigree here as well. And I'm expecting a move forward today. I want to show you Co-Invest's debut last time for Todd Pletcher, Vinny Viola, Mike Rapoli, the whole gang here. West Point's involved. Irad's down here. Boy, did he run good, right? Here's Zapata for Chad. We know the Peter Brandt colors, okay? He's going to absolutely fry him. And Zapata ended up finishing 6th. So he got nagged the entire way. Takes him literally 6.5, 7 furlongs to dispose of him. Here's the winner, Royal Majesty, licking his chops and getting up with the trip. Co-Invest ran huge, and they're going to have to catch him today. Irad will put him on the lead. The question is, does anybody go with him today? Because if they don't, then everybody, including Oscar Worthy, is in a tricky spot here. But I'm assuming that John Velasquez on Oscar Worthy is not going to let Co-Invest get too far away, and that's why I put him on top. I think the gap to the rest of them. Here's the thing with the 9, the man up front. Do you believe in his last race or don't you? It was his turf debut, and at a basically 20-1, he blows way up. He runs a really bang-up second. He's got some speed, and he's kind of got to go under Luis Saez, who never takes back, and I love the aggression Luis shows. This is a terrible post for this horse. He's got to go. He should be a square price. If you believe in that turf debut last time, it kind of sort of came from nowhere. It was a pretty darn good effort. He's a threat in here as well, and you'll get fair value if you're coming along. Race number 9, we wrap it up here in the finale. 6 furlongs on a fast main track. This is a good one for the veterans. 4 and up, which have never won 3 or a race since August 29th. Late scratch, kind of a late scratch of the 2 Catton, who we'll see Sunday in a brutal mandatory Rainbow 6. And then 8 Maptitude, a long shot, is out. So there is some starch with Catton at 3-1 coming out. I had him in 3rd, so it's not a big deal to me. I've got the 7 Payzone on top. I mentioned it earlier. He's going to run on the main track for the first time for Rohan. He claimed him last time. Rohan is 26% off the claim. IRAD is here. Big positives. Unfortunately, with the scratch, you're going to take an underlaid price on honestly. Rohan is so adept at moving these horses up, but he claimed this one from Pete Walder, and Pete knows what he's doing, that's for sure. So it's tough to improve on him. And Payzone's slow. He's got to move up. There's other horses in here that are faster than him. Real Talk, the 4, I don't really know what we're going to get on a massive drop because he was just not good last time. Now, he faced a group of toughies, okay? Local Barrio, Super Chow, XY Point. They would all be big, comfortable favorites in here. Local Barrio is in Saturday, facing Kingsbarns. The drop is a big one, but it's Joe Orsino, it's Paco. We've got some speed to work with as well. You got to respect the connections. The 6-horse Magical Warrior is interesting off the layoff for Gerald Bennett. I'm sure there's races at Tampa for this horse. Well, here he is in the big leagues for a big purse today off the July layoff with the Hall of Famer Javier Castellano aboard. So maybe he's got some intent today. Tricky Finale. Ronnie Single in the 5, Celestial Glaze, who, I moved up into 4th, and I did use him. The Concrete Glory race was very, very good, but it's been a while between drinks for Celestial Glaze, and I've used him several times. So, he's 4th on my list, and he's comfortably down there. But I think they all get helped by the scratch, because Catton was a big player in here. Let's take a quick look at the lightning round before we send it upstairs to Pete. And as it should be, it's front and center Fountain of Youth weekend here at Gulfstream Park. And the big one is the 14th on Saturday. And it's, I don't know how late breaking it is anymore because we're all on Twitter. Look at this. Good work here, guys. Appreciate it. But Speakeasy, who is entered tomorrow, was confirmed for Saturday. Todd Pletcher and the team. Elliot Walden was quoted saying, we're going to run Saturday. And A, that puts a legitimate win contender in the race, and B, that means nothing is free and nothing is easy up front for Victory Avenue because they went at it hellaciously in their debut, 44 and change, and they're going to go on Saturday in the short finish line. Door Knock, the morning line favorite, Locked coming back after being favored in the Breeders' Cup. Door Knock, the full brother to Mage. Real Macho beat a hot shot for Todd Pletcher last time. For Rohan Crichton, he's in with a puncher's chance. Good renewal of the Fountain of Youth. And, of course, that highlights a 14-race stakes card, the finale. 9 stakes, 8 of them graded. I'll tell you what, the allowance races, the maiden races, oh, my goodness. Good luck with all that. What a card they've put on here Saturday. I can't wait. The morning line is done. The final PPs are out, or they will be very, very shortly later this afternoon. Phenomenal card here on Saturday. 11:15 post, by the way. Sunday, no rest for the weary. Mandatory Rainbow Day. And I said if we can get through 3 more days, okay? If we get through 3 more days of nobody hitting this thing, I'm going to throw a big number at you, and it's going to be $10 million. It's going to be massive because they're going to fire hard on Saturday as well. And what a sequence they put together. Get into that, too. New post time Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 1:15, the new post. Saturday, because it's Fountain of Youth Day, is 11:15. But on Saturday and Sunday, the traditional 12:10. Just take note of that. Best bet for me today is in race number 4, I believe. Race number 5, the 4, designated hitter. Lost my long shot today, unfortunately. So that is it for me. Excuse me. Just the best bet for me today, and that ends the early 5 and early 4 and kicks off the late one right in the rainbow as well. Hey, Pete Aiello's upstairs with your scratches, your changes. What a day here, and I hope to see you out here at beautiful Gulfstream Park. We'll be back with you for the opener shortly. Best of luck.